What the heck is holistic wellness?
We'll be breaking down the wheel of well-being, covering how physical, emotional, intellectual, spiritual, environmental, and social wellness all work together.
And the best part? You can experience the entire wheel in just one Group X experience.
That's right. Movement, energy, community come together to fuel your body, mind, and soul.
Yeah, so let's dive into how to bring your wellness being to life starting right here.
Hey there, welcome to Group X Appeal. I'm Kimberly Glick.
And I'm Terry Shorter. We're excited to bring you this hot and sweaty podcast.
With over 25 years of experience each in the health and fitness industry, we're here to share hilarious, heartwarming stories from our lives and careers.
And offer practical nutrition tips, expert exercise advice, and strategies for holistic well-being and a positive mindset.
Group X Appeal is your go-to source for inspiration, motivation, and a few laughs along the way.
So tune in and let us help you be the healthiest, happiest version of you.
At Group X Appeal, we are all about and being dedicated to celebrating all things fitness and fun. But we also want to bridge the gap between physical fitness and complete holistic well-being.
Yeah, we believe that through embracing and implementing an intentional philosophy that's centered around holistic well-being, we can all live our happiest, healthiest, most inspired lives.
No doubt.
So
No
we've got
doubt.
4 different definitions that we want to make sure people are really aware of and clear of. First, right, Kimberly?
Yeah, there are 4 terms that we want to kind of bring to the forefront of the conversation. Then we'll dive into that wheel of well-being. The first, we're probably all pretty darn familiar with, and that is fitness. So fitness is typically the overall state of being physically healthy, active, capable of performing, daily tasks, physical activities, and such. And then, of course, we have health. Health is usually defined as basically being free from illness, which is not a bad thing, being free from illness or injury. But it allows us to cope with the demands of life, but doesn't necessarily mean we're thriving. And that brings us to well-being. Well-being is this broader concept that encompasses happiness, health, and a meaningful life, being able to live with purpose and have a meaningful life. It refers to this overall state of well-being, of being healthy and comfortable and satisfied with your quality of life. And I think that's really important, which is why what we're discussing today primarily is the wheel of
wellness.
Yes, we want to talk about that well-being for sure, which is bring us to the final term, which is wellness. And wellness is kind of the approach. How do we get to well-being? The approach is through wellness. Wellness is this proactive, holistic approach to achieving and maintaining optimal well-being in different areas of life. It's self-directed, where it means you're making healthier choices and you're enabling this process to allow you to continue to evolve and grow and strengthen and just live a more fulfilling and balanced life.
Fantastic. So with those 4 terms, again, many of us, self-included, before it was really broken down, I'll be honest with you.
Dare.
Yes, it is true. Self-included was interchanging these different terms, thinking that it was really the same exact thing. But there are some distinctions, and Kimberly broke it down really, really well. And so before we do get into these, into the life wheel of well-being, first, we want to make sure that you stay tuned. You listen to all of these different pillars, these different elements, these different dimensions.
What are we going to call it?
We're calling them, instead of dimensions, pillars, elements,
categories,
or cogs in the wheel.
We decided to call it the Sexy Six.
So the sexy 6 of well-being. It's easier to remember too, right?
I'm all about being sexy.
Right? Who doesn't want to be sexy?
Hey,
I'm too sexy for my what?
No, stop
shirt.
it. Stop it right now.
Tune.
You just did.
All right. So before we get into the sexy 6, I'm going to say it just like that, by the way, too.
Every time.
Before we get into it, we want to make sure that you stay tuned to get all of the sexy 6, because we have a special gift for you at the very end of this broadcast. And we're going to keep this short and sweet, too, by the way. So let's break it down.
Let's do it.
What do you think?
Let's do it.
All right.
So this is the wheel of well-being that is designed to help you live your most inspired life. By inspired life, the idea is that we're living life from the inside out. So as opposed to living our life deciding whether or not we're going to be happy, healthy, etc., based on our circumstances, we are choosing to live our best life from the inside out. So that is an inspired life. And this is, of course, the wheel of well-being we're about to throw your way, the sexy six. So number
Yeah.
one, can you say it
I
one more
love
time?
it. The sexy six.
Oh,
I'm going
my
to deepen
goodness.
that too in post-production. The sexy
That
six.
is so going to be my ringtone now. And then I'm going to beg you all to call me and text me so that all day long I can hear.
And everybody else can hear the sexy six.
Bam. So the first element of the wheel, the cog of the wheel, the first of the sexy six, is of course physical well-being. It is the one that we're probably most familiar with when it comes to living our healthiest life. I mean, gosh, we grew up in the health and fitness industry where it really was about the triad. What is a triad, Terry?
Well, the triad is physical activity or exercise. It's nutrition. It's making sure you get enough rest. So I
two,
personally
three,
thought
triad.
that was it. That was
Me too.
everything to life. And once you had those three elements of the triad, as long as you were practicing it, you were good to go.
If you're
Right.
firing on those cylinders, you're
Right.
going to be healthy and happy, right?
Right. But wait, there's more.
Wait. And honestly, that really is what I think caused me to dive into my own personal journey.
Sure.
My personal growth journey when it comes to kind of living a more inspired life is recognizing that we're around people in the industry all the time who
Yeah.
are firing on all three cylinders.
All the time.
They are exercising, they are fit, they are getting good sleep, they're eating well, and yet they're not necessarily happy.
Or fulfilled. Right.
Yeah. But that said, physical well-being is an important part of the overall picture when it comes to us living our healthiest, happiest, best lives. So
Sure.
it's important.
And that's why we're starting there as well, because a lot of people who do listen to this podcast, and that may be you as a listener, this is kind of the gateway into this wheel of well-being or the sexy six.
As many times, please, if she can fit in, that would be awesome. So, Terry, what would be number two?
Number two would be emotional well-being. So honing your ability to choose or shift to a positive perspective, regardless of the external circumstances. And for me, I'll be honest with you, I was really tapping into this cog during what you referred to as the great pause.
I thought you were going to say... I thought you were going to say I was tapping into this cog as you were just talking.
What?
Is it that bad?
That is
He's
hilarious.
just like my ex-husband.
That is hilarious.
Oh,
so,
that's awesome. But yes, during the great pause, of course.
during the great pause,
Of
during
course.
COVID,
Yes,
this is
yes.
where I personally was making a much more conscious effort to get into this emotional well-being state on a more intentional basis and a more consistent basis as well. So.
It's very much a choice. You know, it goes back to the whole concept of an inspired life is making the choice to not live just in reaction and in response to your environment, but making a choice to live your best life and to be happy regardless of what your circumstances are.
Sure.
Because what is that old saying? Life is 10% what happens to you and 90%
reaction.
how you respond, right? So it's a big deal.
Or I like one of Jim Rohn's, one of my favorite quotes that he shares is, the winds of circumstances are always going to blow. It's just how you set your sails.
Ooh.
So
Jim Rohn for the
one of
win.
my favorite. With the win and the wind.
Because there's a sail.
You like
'cause
that?
did
You
the
like
wind.
that?
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
good. All right. So what's our third element, pillar, cog? Whatever we did, whatever you. Hey, why don't you put in the comments if you're on YouTube? What would you like us to call the six? I mean, we're going to stay with sexy six.
Of course. You
but,
can't
know.
change that now.
But the third element, I usually refer to it as element, but it is intellectual well-being. So obviously in physical well-being, it's about fueling our body and how important it is to physically fuel our body well. But this is about how do we fuel our mind?
Right.
It is so incredibly important. It is what do we feed ourselves intellectually, and are we open intellectually to growing? You know, my mom always said when I was growing up, shout out mama, my beautiful mama. She always used to say, you're either green and growing or you're ripe and rotting. And the good news is every day you wake up, you get to decide which
choice.
one you're going to be. And so I've always been focused on being green and growing, and education has always been near and dear to my heart. And so intellectual well-being is about always being open to growth and evolution, because it's a huge part of why we're here,
Absolutely.
I believe. So
Yeah, and there's so many resources that are so much more readily available to us now than when we were kids growing up.
Absolutely.
With technology from podcasts like this. What?
It's brilliant, really, if you think about it.
Right. And I listened to a lot of books on tape. My dad
too.
was like,
Did
heavy
you say
into
books on
I said
tape?
books on tape.
On tape.
How do you
Like, you
like
have
that?
the tape?
Absolutely. Yeah.
You don't
the
use
cassette
like
tape.
Audible?
Nope. Not back in the day. It was a cassette. Books on tape. Not
I'm
even
gonna
CDs.
I'm going to pretend I'm not judging you.
So I just completely dated myself. But yeah, we have the ability to make that decision, like Kimberly said, to create that and pursue that intellectual well-being without any excuses nowadays.
Definitely. Agree. Always be a student in your life. No,
sure.
even if you're in a position of leadership, be a student. So
Absolutely. Makes the best leaders.
No.
For sure. So the fourth element of the sexy six is spiritual well-being. You know, having faith in a greater power than yourself that supports you as you search for and experience deeper meaning and purpose in life. So whether it be through church or some sort of congregation, whether it be through meditation, just, you know, some way or some method that works best for you and who you are and the direction that you want to go in your life. So
yeah, I think that's so important. You know, as many years as I've been coaching, a lot of people have asked me about the spiritual well-being piece. And the idea is not that there's a specific path that one must follow, but just that you are on a path that works for you, that helps you feel more meaning and purpose in life, whether that's through religion, philosophy, you know, like you said, it's different for everyone. And whatever works for you, we celebrate that for sure.
always.
Spiritual well-being is huge. So the next one is really interesting. I get questioned about this one a lot as well. It's like, why would environmental well-being be on a wheel of well-being? Well, I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
There are actually two parts of the environmental element. I almost said elemental and environment, but the environmental element. Oh my gosh, say that 5 times fast. That's actually really hard.
Environmental element. I have to do it
See,
with
now
the
it's
rhythm
just
now.
showing off.
And I have to do it with the body weight too. Environmental element.
Start rapping.
Yeah.
Oh, hey. So the two parts, the kind of two prongs for environmental well-being. One, pretty straightforward, get out in nature. Spend time whenever you can outside. Now, before I lived in sunny Southern California, I lived in Minnesota, and there were some months of the year, let's just say it was a little harder to do, but I at least would get to a window.
Right.
But
and look outside.
But be in nature, right? I mean, your connection to nature, it fuels so many different aspects of who you are. It reminds us that we are part of something greater. There are so many benefits to getting outside, which we'll dive into in a future episode, the specific benefits of being out in nature. But then the other part of environmental well-being is whatever space you are spending time in. If you spend a lot of time in maybe a home office or an office that you go to, or do you spend a lot of time in your car? Do you spend a lot of time in your kitchen? I personally work at home primarily, and I have a table that I work at, and behind me, I created like a wall of inspiration. And so the invitation is in your space where you spend a lot of time. 2 things, actually. 1, declutter. Are there options for decluttering? Because when there's clutter around us, it doesn't just take up physical space, it takes up energetic space within us. And so if we can kind of clean up the clutter a bit, but then go above and beyond that, what can you place in your environment that would potentially spark joy?
And inspiration.
Right.
Yeah.
So this wall of inspiration I have behind me, when I'm working, I do have a little vision board that I created, but then I have a wall that is all some of my favorite quotes, pictures of people that I love and care about, and the rest is all cards and notes from clients. And so whenever I need some inspiration, I need a lift to be uplifted to continue doing the good work that I want to do, I just spin around and I'll read some notes or cards, and
Start smiling from ear to
right?
ear.
It is part of my environment that lifts me up.
Sure.
And of course, this could also include things like flowers, you know, colors and scents all have an impact on us in our environment. So look around wherever you spend time. We won't go any deeper than that. And just think to yourself, is there anything I can add to this environment that would spark joy and inspire me in some way, shape, or form.
Sure. Love it. Love it. True believer of that. Declutter for sure. Be minimalistic if you need to. Kind of tap into all the sensory, right? So what you see, what you smell, what you hear, what you touch, not necessarily what you taste, but maybe perhaps that too.
You got any cheese?
Yeah, we got some of
I
that.
love cheese.
So that is the fifth element of the sexy six. So let's
Exactly.
get into number 6 of the sexy six.
Sexy six of sexy six?
Right? The sixth of the sexy six is social
Boom.
well-being, right?
You don't know anything about that, Terry Shorter.
Nothing at all. No way, no how.
You know, it's actually really sad. He just doesn't like people.
Well, this is having a very strong, healthy connection with other people. That's all this one is. And by you listening in with us right now, we're creating that connection, whether you realize it or not. So social well-being, hopefully you're getting that out of this podcast, out of Group X Appeal. And that is, having those connections with your family, with your friends, just a broader community. And again, kind of going back to this being the best time in the history of mankind to be able to do that because of technology again, we truly can reach out. And as I mentioned in one of the prior podcasts, that you have the ability to press the flesh with somebody else if you want to.
Wait, you're going to put Sexy Six and Press the Flesh in one
episode, right? Oh, it's getting hot, right? So we really do, with all the different social media platforms, with all the different ways to connect with people, that is a great form of that social well-being. But I'll tell you what, nothing will, even with the best technology in the world or in the universe for that matter, even with the best technology, nothing will replace seeing people face to face, having a coffee, sharing, some time playing, having a game night. A simple hug, going for a walk or a hike together, right? So that is one of the things that bring juice into our lives, that's for sure. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing this together, right?
Right? It's so true. So true. So that, my friend, is the Inspired Life Wheel of Well-Being. You've got your physical well-being, emotional well-being, intellectual well-being, spiritual well-being, environmental well-being, and social well-being. And you might be thinking, gosh, that's like so much to think about and so many different areas of my life I need to nurture. Not as hard as you may think. And in future episodes, we're going to be talking about how different healthy habits and hobbies and rituals you can incorporate into your life will cross over and feed and fuel. And we even mentioned in the beginning that a Group X experience, one Group X experience, can help fuel all these different elements.
Yep.
And so it's not as hard to be able to nurture this holistic well-being as you may think.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the Group X experience actually makes it a super sexy six experience.
Oh, whoa.
Right?
Hey.
Takes it to a whole different
Wow.
level. Where else do
Hey.
you know where you can get all 6 of those pillars like wrapped up into one experience?
That's really true.
Right? That's why we're here.
Yes. Heck yeah.
So what else? So as we promised, what do we have?
have something for
what's
them.
the free gift that we have for them,
so
Kimberly?
the free gift we have for you, because we want to make sure you remember the Sexy Six. Should we go in and edit this? Because what we have for you is a downloadable PDF. Now, in the PDF, it is not referred to as the Sexy Six, but maybe we'll change that down the road. It is the Inspired Life Wheel of Well-Being. So this is a free download. It's just a PDF that you can access that offers up both the definitions, those 4 terms we talked about, the fitness, health, wellness, well-being, and then lays out the wheel of well-being with the definition of each one. It also gives suggestions of how to incorporate different aspects into your life that will nurture all the elements of the wheel. So it's a great tool for you to have, a great resource. And how do they get it, Terry?
You can just go ahead and visit groupxappeal.com. And right away, as soon as you go to our website, it will ask for your email address. Go ahead and type that in, and you will automatically be sent this worksheet that is going to really impact your life in the best way possible. But in addition to that, I think what's really important, because I don't think Kimberly would mention this here, but I'm going to do it for her. I'm going to be her hype man. this is kind of scratching the surface, not just of the entire Group X Appeal show and all the different elements of well-being that we have to offer, but you can even dig deeper through her Inspired Life University. So how do people tap into that, and what else are they going to get when they tap into Inspired Life?
I appreciate you mentioning that. You know,
Yeah.
this has been, the work of my life, holistic well-being. And so at theinspiredlifeuniversity.com, there are lots of resources and workshops and courses that you can dive into, and they're all about the idea of living your best life. My tagline is to know yourself, love yourself, be yourself. And so my goal is always to create resources that help people really be authentically who they are, because I think if more of us did that in the world and made healthy choices, better choices toward happiness, we would be living in a different time and space. And so,
A
yeah.
much better time and space.
Yeah.
So we're on our way.
Yeah, we are. That's what we're doing here. We're adding to that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing. So do make sure that you visit Inspired Life University. Make sure that you go to Group X Appeal to get your free download that we have to offer you, that gift. And you're going to want to stay tuned for the next episode because we will be diving deeper into your very first cog in the wheel, your very first element of the Sexy Six. And so,
And we're answering a question from a viewer.
Absolutely. So yes, keep the questions coming, please, whether it be on the YouTube page with comments, or if we've been also receiving emails as well. You can leave comments on other social media platforms as well. We definitely want to get back to you, respond to you, and give you props here on the show in each episode, but we will be tapping into the physical well-being part of the wheel in the next episode.
Yeah.
So anything else that they need to do?
Yeah, I think continue to tune in. If you're wherever you listen to your podcast, be sure to download, listen, follow. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, check us out, leave comments. We love keeping the conversation going, whether it be on YouTube or on social media. We're there. We're ready and excited to not only hear from you, but to have this conversation with you. And so, stay connected with us.
Yay, we love that. We love that. So that was your very first introduction into the Sexy Six. So we hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, until the next episode, of course, we appreciate you. We thank you. And we encourage you to make it a great day. And why, Kimberly?
Because it's a great day to have.
Yes, it is.
Much
Talk
love.
to you soon.